Welcome to the Weekend Outdoorsman podcast, where our mission is to keep traditions alive, fueled by a passion for the outdoors. Whether you're a bow hunter, a fisherman, or just love the outdoors, then this is the podcast for you. We hope to inspire you as well as many others around you to keep any traditions you may have alive, as well as create new ones. So be sure to subscribe, like, and follow along with us as we're going to go on some great adventures to learn some new information to bring back to you guys, as well as have some awesome guests on here. What's going on, everybody? We want to thank you for tuning in to our very first podcast. For those of you that don't know who we are the Weekend Outdoorsmen. My name is Will Cooper, and my brother Richard is on here as well. I'm the youngest of the two Cooper brothers, and we're just going to start off with this first episode to kind of introduce to you guys who we are, what we're doing with this Weekend Outdoorsman thing. I'm sure some of y'all have probably seen over the past year or two through social media, just kind of some things that we've posted, things we've done, talked about. And so we've kind of taken it upon us with 2020 flying at us to rev this thing up and get it started. And so with that, I'm going to let Richard kind of take the mic and introduce himself to let you guys know who he is and how he got started in the outdoors.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Like Will said, my name is Richard Cooper, the older and better looking of the two Cooper brothers.
Easy.
Like he said, we're just kind of wanting to introduce ourselves to you guys, let you know who we are, what we're about. Kind of started out, Will started this, how many years ago was it?
2017, 3 years ago. Shit.
Okay. So we're doing this, huh?
We're doing
3 years ago. 3 years ago, he actually started it as the Weekend Outdoorsman. And then this year we decided to go ahead and join forces again and turn it into the Weekend Outdoorsman.
Yeah.
So here we are, here we go. You want to give them a little background on yourself?
Yeah, but before I do that, tell them, like, how'd you get into hunting and fishing? Was it with Dad? Was it with buddies?
Just because I'm the oldest doesn't mean I have to go first.
Well, I'm gonna let you go first. Age before.
All right, man. Where did it all start? I mean, growing up, we got to go fishing with Dad, hunting with Dad. I remember being a kid. I couldn't even tell you how old I was, but going hunting on the weekend with Dad and taking my little cap rifle, like I was actually gonna go out and hunt something.
You got your Red Ryder.
And it wasn't even a Red Ryder. It literally all it did was pop. But yeah, just going out with Dad, sitting in the stand. I remember when we were fortunate enough to get something, bringing it back to Grandma and Grandpa's house and taking care of it, getting it all packaged up. Yeah, I mean, that's just...
Was that the time y'all came home and I was like, you shot Bambi?
I mean, that was one of the times, but I mean, there's a pretty good age gap between you and I, so there were times before you were... I mean, I remember times before you were even in the picture.
That was before my trigger
doing that.
Itchy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it kind of started there for me, being at home on the weekends. And we had PBS. I don't know, public broadcast television. I don't know how many people are familiar with that, or if that's even still a thing. But there's a show that Dad always liked watching called, it was Marty Stouffer's Wild America, I think it was. and just seeing all the different animals and, you know, parts of the country, just everything that was out there, everything that could be experienced, and just thinking, wow, I want to see that someday. Like, that's where is that? How do I find that? And, I mean, we were fortunate. I feel like we were fortunate growing up. We had people that gave us opportunities to, go out and experience hunting, experience fishing, where they let us come onto their property, whether it was family or friends or so we were just really fortunate in that aspect. You know, kind of as life goes on, sometimes it takes you away from things that you love doing, and you don't have as much time or opportunity to do those things. But I feel like over the past few years, finally gained the opportunity to really get back into it, get into the swing of it, and try some new things, create some new experiences. And like we've said, a big part of this for us is keeping traditions alive, and maybe creating some new ones of our own along the way.
Definitely. I think we started that last year with the elk hunt. So
Yeah, for sure.
definitely. Well, I'll go next. So, for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Will, and I am the better looking of the two brothers. I like to think.
It's open for debate.
And I also live in Texas. Actually, expecting our first child, my wife and I, here pretty shortly, and so that's why we're not at an elk hunt right now at the time this is being recorded. Um, but I'd have to say for me, where it really all began was probably honestly with you and Dad. The first couple of times y'all took me fishing with y'all, in the old Cajun. Well, heck, before that it was the glass drawn. But then once we got,
Or that little John boat that we had.
oh yeah, out on the Moss's Tank. That's kind of where it all began for me. And then where the fire really got set was when I got to go hunting with Dad. Um, you know, we had an aunt and uncle that had some land outside Fredericksburg, Texas, for a while, and we were pretty fortunate enough to get to go out there. And I just think that the first couple times I got to go with Dad and watch him shoot a doe is what really got me fired up. And then I think it took me, I don't know how many tries till I got my first doe, and actually first two does, because I used to blame the shaking, the buck fever, on Dad, because I'd blame it on him because I used to have to sit on his lap. And
Mm-hmm.
we were sitting in a blind, and some deer came out, good sized doe came out. Dad told me to shoot, put it right where Dad always taught us, halfway up, right behind the shoulder. Shot, the deer took off, and Dad looked at me and he goes, well, I've never seen a deer run off with this gun before. He goes, well, let's just wait. Let's
Yeah, you ruined the record with that gun. Good job.
But for first deer, he told me to wait, and they come back. Another doe came out, put it right in the same spot, dropped her. We walked all the way up there. Dad took about 3 steps, looked to the left, and he goes, crap. Now I got to gut and skin 2 deer. And so I think that's really where it really set fire, where the fire was really just raging for me at that point. I can remember reading through all the hunting magazines, Texas Fishing Game, Eastman, bow hunting magazine, North American Whitetail, all those. And ultimately, that's just kind of what led me to where I am now and the passion I have for the outdoors and doing some stuff in the industry. So that's where it just kind of really all began for me. And
Yeah, I remember on the same place you were talking about, our aunt and uncle's place. Um, it was when Dad really finally was cool with me going by myself.
oh yeah.
Um, and just being out there by myself. And it was just, I remember I was like, I don't want to hunt I don't want to hunt in a stand today. Like I don't care if I get anything or not, but I don't want to hit in a stand. I don't want to sit in a stand. And so I didn't. And I remember I set up in this little stand of cedars, and it was pretty thick behind me. And there was just this, it was a decent 8 point. Um, I think it may have been probably the first buck I shot out there. But I remember he literally walked 10 feet away from me and had no clue that I was there. And just getting to see that and seeing the deer not know I'm there, um, and just trying to keep that going, stalking it, and getting into a position where I could actually, you know, take a good shot on it, being successful like that was a completely new experience for me. I was like, okay, this is hunting like I've not experienced it before.
I remember
And
you used to do this
I
all.
think that's, yeah, and I think that's a big reason why, like last year when we got the opportunity to go elk hunting, that for me was like, okay, this is the kind of hunting that really gets me going. Like
Like when we
I
had
don't
people come out on us the last morning right before we left.
yeah.
I still wish I would have taken
um
that
mm,
because he came down to 43 yards. And I remember, I think back to it now, and I'm like, why did I not take that shot? I think it was just because we finally, you know, we had heard him, we had seen sign, and then we had just finally kind of gotten into him. And I think it was just the fact that we had elk there that close. I was, I was just
yeah.
happy with that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you're out there, and it's not really anywhere to hide, so to speak. Like it's just
We thought we were hidden, and then we were in the open, as plain as. So for those of y'all that want to see more of what we do have a YouTube channel. It's not full blown yet. We are working on that, and we will be getting more content to you guys in the near future. But in the meantime, y'all can check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Obviously, Facebook is just the Weekend Outdoorsman. Instagram, it is the underscore weekend underscore outdoorsman. So be sure to check us out, follow us, like our content, comment on anything.
we also have the we also have the group on Facebook now too that we just started up. Kind
We
of a brag board, advice board, just kind of a sounding board for what everybody's got going on during the season throughout the year.
show it
Show
off.
what they're doing, and yep, talking about it, asking questions. So
And
feel free to
is in our
check that out too.
the link for that is in our Instagram bio. So y'all can definitely go check that out. And again, you can invite anybody you want, and you can click to join it. And like Richard said, it's a bragging board. So put all your big bucks, your big fish. If you got any questions on any fishing techniques, we've got, I think there's almost 200 members in there now or something like that. So there's plenty of people from all different styles of hunting and fishing that can help you answer questions. So if you're going to be going on an elk hunt and you need help on gear, questions on how to hunt, where to hunt, whitetail, bass fishing, and wherever, hop in there, join the group, put it up. And that's what it's all about. So back in 2017, we really, or I guess I could say I really started off the Weekend Outdoorsman. Um, I was a head cross country and assistant track and field coach at a college up in Abilene at the time. And that's when I really first found out about how you have all these influencers out there. I saw the Guggen Squad, Lunkers TV, Lake Fork guy, all these guys that were making a living off of YouTube and social media. And I thought to myself, I love the outdoors. I've wanted to find a way to begin a career in that. And so I wanted to do what those guys were doing. And so that's where the term weekend outdoors man at the time kind of came out. I really wanted to create a brand that spoke more to the person that's working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, 9 to 5, and the only time that they have to go hunting is when they leave work at 5 o'clock on Friday through Sunday evening. And so I just really wanted to create this brand that kind of spoke to that person. I felt like you see too many brands out there nowadays that it's these guys that they're just going hunting 365 days a week, and I love that because it's more content for me to consume, it's more content for you to consume, and I love watching that. But I just wanted to develop something that really spoke to that demographic. And so that's where the term weekend outdoors man came at the time. And just dilly dallied around with it more for fun than anything. And then recently, I think it was earlier this year, um, really got Richard involved with it and got him on board, partnered with it. And so that's when we decided to change the name to the Weekend Outdoors Men rather than Outdoorsmen, like he said earlier. Um, and so, one of the things that we really not necessarily pride ourselves on, but one of the things we just want to really focus on is about, the traditions of hunting and fishing that families, buddies, cousins, that people keep. And, our slogan or our mission statement or whatever you want to call it is, keeping traditions alive, fueled by a passion for the outdoors. And so, like Richard and I, we've been deer hunting since we were kids. We've been bass fishing since we were kids with our dad. So we want to keep that tradition going, and we want to eventually pass that down to our kids one day. We also want to create new traditions, just like us going on our first elk hunt last year. It was me, Richard, and our dad. We've got a bottle of whiskey that's waiting to get opened until an elk finally hits the ground. And that's a mission that we're on. It doesn't matter who kills the elk. It's just we want to do that as a family. And so we want to help inspire you, encourage you to go do that same thing, to go create new traditions, keep traditions alive, and just, instill them for years to come, fueled by your passion for the outdoors.
I mean, that's what a big part of it has been for me. I went off to school and was lucky. We've talked about being fortunate with the opportunities that we've had to be able to go hunting and fishing throughout the different phases of our life. I went off to school and was fortunate enough to meet some people that let me do some predator hunting and stuff like that out there.
You got a
Um,
time when you were up there.
yeah, I mean that was a big thing there.
Heck yeah.
Being out in far west Texas, um,
Where is it?
mule deer hunting was hadn't really been established in the area that I was in. They actually didn't even have a season for it where I was at the time. Um,
Did you ever go mule deer hunting when you were
yeah.
up?
No, there were a couple of counties close to where I was at that they had just started getting their first seasons,
Okay.
like probably the year before I left.
Yeah.
Um, but it just most of the opportunities I had up there were predator hunting and stuff like that, and it was really awesome for me because it was in a way that I'd never really done it before. As far as like the calling and stuff like that, which kind of plays into the elk hunting now.
Hmm.
Um,
A giant
but
pound turkey screaming at you.
yeah, um, but like you said, it's just we've kind of come together now, doing this together. Um, for me, a big part of it is just showing people, no, we're not the guys that get to do this 365 a year.
Yeah.
Um,
Yet.
we're not we haven't been in a position to do that. I think anybody interested in this industry in the outdoors who has that passion for it, I think you'd be hard pressed to find anybody that says they wouldn't want to do that. Um, a big part of this for me is, you know, sharing our experiences and how we do it and how we fit it into our lives and how we keep it going in our lives. Um,
especially with having
because yeah, you're about to go through another crash course in how to do all this with that. Um,
yep,
but just sharing our experiences and how we do it, and hopefully showing them that, you know, yeah, you're working, you're working, you're working those 40, 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week. Um, but you can still get out there, you can still enjoy it, you can still either get into it and start doing it, or keep it going. It's you know it's just, for me, it's sharing that experience and showing people that, yeah, it is something that you can still do. um
definitely. It's a lot doing a lot of this stuff. It can seem intimidating to a lot of people, and I found that out working in the industry from different perspectives, especially when I worked retail. Um, you know, just a lot of guys that would come into the store that had no idea the hunting opportunities that are available out there, the fishing opportunities that are available out there. And
for sure. I mean,
we're no professionals by any means. And so,
no.
how
But I mean, like,
how we
yeah, I mean, like, you
how we do things, it's not going to be perfect. We're probably going to have guys and girls out there, they're going to criticize, well, I would do it this way, and that's fine. you know I think the main thing is, like you said, it's we're here to help. We want to be here to help inspire folks to go out and do those things. But at the end of the day, I think it's one of those things that we all just have to remember that, we're all we're all in this together. um One of the things I hate seeing on social media today is, it's one thing to see a non-hunter or vegetarian or, tree hugger, whatever you want to call them. It's one thing to see them bashing us as hunters. That's a different topic for another time. But I hate seeing hunters bashing hunters. That makes me so mad, is when I see people like, oh, I wouldn't have killed that little buck. Seeing a 10-year-old kid with his first buck, that makes me so mad. Or, I don't like seeing that. And so the one thing I want to promote is, I think Meat Eater talked about this. We need to get away from trophy shaming and stuff, and really just be in this all together and be thankful for the opportunities we have to go hunting and fishing out there.
oh, absolutely. I mean, it's, everybody has different ways of doing it, different opportunities. um I mean, I have my thoughts on, you know the way people hunt.
Yeah,
Just like people are going to have thoughts on the way I hunt or the way I fish. um I mean, to me, as long as people are getting out there, enjoying the outdoors and wildlife for what it is, um,
that's
and
what.
they're doing it, as long as they're doing it with respect towards people. I mean, whether that's fellow hunters, fellow fishermen, people who are opposed, um, people who are opposed to those things, be respectful. Um, be respectful of their opinions. You don't have to agree with their opinions. You don't have to agree with the way they do things, but you know, they're still people. Um, and be respectful of, to me, doing it right isn't necessarily, oh, I took this animal this way, or, you know, do it legally, do it with respect towards the animal. Um, you know, just experience it, enjoy the experience.
Definitely.
Um, and just, like I said, abide by the laws, do it legally, you know, and praise the success that people do have when they do it that way. I mean, that's a huge part of it for me. Like,
For sure. I mean, like when
You went out, you put in the work, um, and you were successful. That's awesome. Like it doesn't matter if you know you took a spike or a doe or a you know 12-point Boone and Crockett 150 plus. I mean, you know
I think it's like
it's all a success to be celebrated.
you can't eat the antlers.
No.
You can't eat the antlers, and that's not what it's all about. And to me, I think that's when we just when it comes back to you know what it really means to go hunting and just keeping traditions alive. I mean, I think it's just really awesome to go into small towns in Texas, you know, especially when dove season starts in September, just seeing the excitement and the buzz of all the hunters in the area. And then, especially when opening weekend of deer season for rifle season starts in November, just seeing
Hmm.
small towns come to life, just bustling with hunters everywhere. I love seeing that. I love seeing
Yeah, it
I love seeing trucks pulled up to meat processors and barbecue joints with the big bucks in the back, and that's what it's all about.
yeah, I mean, it was kind of cool today. I actually took a quick trip down to my lease to do a little bit of scouting and preseason housekeeping, whatever you want to call it. Um, and we had a lot of rain today, and you had texted me, and um, I was like, no, I can't. We were going to try to do this earlier in the day. I was like, I'm actually on the way to the lease, and you were asking me how the weather was. I was like, well, it's raining, but if I wait until it's not raining or wait for good weather, I'm never going to get down here before the season starts.
It always seems like
Um,
in September.
yeah, but it was just cool because I, there's just something about the experience. Like it was just weird because it kind of cooled off. It's been so hot here lately. It cooled off. It was wet, rainy. Um, and a lot of landowners in the area were taking advantage of the rain, and they've built up these burn piles all year, and so a lot of them were burning those today. And just like the smell in the air, the feel in the air, like the feeling of fall. I remember I was driving back and I was like, yeah, it's that time of year. It's about go time again.
I think what we've got going here, it's something special for all you listeners out there. I think we're developing something pretty cool for all you weekend outdoorsmen out there. And I know the next episode that we've got lined up, it's going to be a pretty big one. We've got a pretty big two big guests that are going to be coming on to kind of help answer any questions. I don't want to give it away yet about who we're going to have on, but I think you listeners are going to be pretty excited about who we're going to have on. Some of the people that we're getting lined up to get on the podcast just in the future. I think we're going to have some pretty cool people, some pretty big names that we're going to be getting on here. So I think it'll be pretty awesome for y'all to follow along, listen to what we have, follow along with us and our experiences, especially, I plan on filming a lot more this year, just getting out there, my fails, my successes. I think it'll just be pretty cool to listen to the stuff that we're going to learn, through our experiences, with our elk hunts coming up. I know one of the things that you and I have planned is potentially a archery mule deer hunt in Arizona in January. Uh, I think hopefully we're going to get that on the docket either this year, next year, at some point. But just to follow along, and we're no professionals by any means, but we just want to encourage you guys to keep those traditions alive. Start new traditions, and ultimately just help keep that passion for the outdoors alive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in this claiming to be a subject matter expert by any stretch of the imagination. Um, like we said, I'm here to share our experiences. I just, I hope we can help some people learn a few things. I hope we can learn along the way, and just show people that, yeah, you're working a 9 to 5, or uh, I don't even work a 9 to 5. I have probably one of the weirdest schedules I've ever heard, but
Yeah, you
um,
do.
I mean, it's showing that, yeah, you can be working a job outside of the outdoor industry. You don't have to be somebody who is doing this 365 days a year to still be able to get out there and enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to work 365. You don't have to hunt and fish for a living to go kill big bucks or catch big fish.
And even if they're not big bucks or big fish, you know, just get out there, enjoy it.
Exactly.
There's a there's a whole lot of world out there to experience.
It's all about the experiences, experiencing something new, just going through life and enjoying it, and just really getting out there, having fun in the outdoors, and experiencing everything that we're blessed to have an opportunity with.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like I said before, this is something, the outdoors is always something that I've been passionate about. And even when life you know, has taken me away from it for a little while, or maybe a little further away from it than I would like to be. Um,
Life
it's always been, oh, for sure, but it's always been laying there right under the surface. And I think I'm lucky again to be able to kind of get back into it and carry it on and keep on going with it again.
definitely. I think just the opportunities that I've gotten to have with some of my stuff in the outdoor industry straight out of college, and starting a fishing club in college, and just the stuff that's afforded me, it's only poured more gas on the fire for me. And so I really want to lay my path in the outdoor industry, and just go for it. We just want to thank all you listeners for tuning in to our very first Weekend Outdoorsman podcast episode. We're going to try and get these posted up. We don't have a set schedule yet on how many. We're not necessarily going to be doing one every week, but we will be posting them Thursday nights at midnight, so you can be listening to them whether you're working from home now due to COVID, before you get started, or you just want to listen to it while you're working from home, or you're on your way to the office. We want to be able to get you guys some really cool content to listen to encourage y'all to go out there, do things, maybe learn something from us, whether it's right or wrong. But we just want to thank y'all for tuning in. And again, if you want to follow us, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, um, and just follow along, guys, because like I said, we've got some really cool things planned ahead. And our next guests on episode 2, they're going to be some pretty big names in the elk hunting industry. And I think that's about all I want to say without giving it away, but you'll definitely want to tune in because they're going to have some really cool stuff for you guys to listen to. So thanks again for tuning in, and peace out from us over at the Weekend Outdoorsman.
And that was the inaugural #1 episode of the Weekend Outdoorsman podcast. If you've stuck with us this far, thank you so much for listening to us, all of our ramblings and so on. We really appreciate it. If you liked what you heard, want to hear more, want to see more, check us out on Facebook. We're on Facebook as the Weekend Outdoorsman. We also have kind of a brag board, discussion board group on there as well, so check that out, give it a join. You can also follow us on Instagram at _weekend_outdoorsman. So check us out and give us a follow on there as well. We're really hoping that you're gonna stick with us and check out episode 2 of the podcast that we've got coming up. If you are familiar with the elk hunting world, or just the outdoor world in general, and the social media space with that right now, I think you'll you'll be pretty surprised with who we have coming. We've got some pretty heavy hitters in the elk hunting world right now, so do us a favor and check that out, and we'll see you next time.